my darlings, I'm Sophie Darling, and welcome to my first react to episode 20 of Death Note. If you like these types of reacts, please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment below to help boost this video into the algorithm. And also, please do let me know if there's any anime that you would like to see me watch in the future. I'm always looking for recommendations. But we saw Matsuda get a win. We also saw that they have now planted cameras into the room where they're having their meetings, so they're actually able to keep a track of what they're doing and build up evidence. So we know that this arc probably isn't going to last that much longer. They also killed one of their own, indicating that we may actually start to see their numbers dwindle, and not for any other reason than they start targeting each other. Maybe they start mistrusting each other. Maybe they start to find justifications and reasons to get rid of other people around them because they think that they might target them. So it was quite fascinating to watch that sort of psychological stress that they're going under. And also Matsuda faked his death, so now the poor boy is gonna have to be in hiding the whole time. I'm really enjoying this arc. I'm waiting for the moment that Light and Misa get their Death Note back, and I'm curious as to how that is going to happen. I'm still not entirely sure. We know that Ryuk's Death Note is buried, and we know that Rems is being lent to the Yatsuba group. So there has to be a bigger plan in place, and I think Rem is in on this plan.
There's supposed to be 8 of them, but only 7 are present. That must mean that
they probably killed one of their members.
In order to further the growth of the Yotsuba group and best serve its financial interests, who should we kill next?
You see? It's just like I told you last week!
This is not good at this rate.
First, there is the issue of Hattori's death.
That was unavoidable. To be honest, in a certain sense, I'm relieved that Hattori is dead. Kira has demonstrated that we must be committed to these meetings. We now know what will happen if we try to leave.
I think we all understand what Hattori's death means for the rest of us. Let's not take it lightly.
So either Kira's in the room or Kira is someone above them watching. But I feel like Kira has to be in the room. It was just the way that they began to freeze him out of the meeting. They weren't listening to him. They weren't paying him attention. You kind of knew then and there, like, they're already considering him dead. They already consider him as someone of no importance.
Now, moving on.
They're so cold and manipulative.
One of their members just died, and that's all they're going to say?
Yeah. They don't care.
So we really pay $5 million for this report? I mean, come on, look at this. He hasn't found out anything important about L, like his name or his face. Is this Coil guy seriously going to be of any use to us?
The concentration of killings that are beneficial to Yotsuba will likely be noticed by L
if they continue on Fridays and Saturdays.
So if they change the pattern of the killings, then it confirms that it's definitely them.
Figured out what we've been up to. I admit it's quite impressive. At any rate, I personally think we should stop killing every weekend. I think we should focus on ELF insurance. If they expand into the Japanese market, Yotsuba and many other companies will lose valuable clients to them.
Agreed.
All right. Any objections to killing these people from ELF with accidental deaths?
No objections.
So they kill everybody from the company?
How can they do this so easily?
Another potential candidate is Santoro Zenzai, a member of the Kugisawa group. He's been protesting Yotsuba's resort development plans. Zenzai's known to have high blood pressure, so we can designate a time for him to suffer a stroke resulting in natural death. Any objections?
No objections.
We can only be completely sure after those people they've named are dead. We will continue to monitor these meetings and take
because they can just say it. If they don't actually die, they have no evidence.
Actually die. If we can confirm the connection between their plans
What are
and
you
deaths,
doing?
then we'll definitely be able to catch Kira.
Madman, stop it.
What is it? There's no need to yell in unison.
I can't carry on knowing these people will die. That's just immoral.
Right.
Here it comes.
I know you're planning to catch
Like
Kira
father,
by letting
like
these guys
son.
actually carry out these murders, but we can't let that happen.
That's right. It's obvious that these 7 men are behind the killings. With Matsuda's testimony and this footage we've recorded,
But you can't prove it.
Evidence.
You're making this difficult. If we were to take action now, everything we've done will go to waste.
I don't care who we call. I need to reach one of these men and have them stop these murders.
Please hold on. That will cause suspicion. It would mean the investigation caught up to them 3 days after they were contacted by Iber. Also, it would make it far more unlikely that we would be able to discover who the real Kira might be. We can't afford such a huge setback seeing how far we've come.
As awful as it sounds that he's just allowing these people to die, at the same time, I get where he's coming from. I think I wouldn't be able to sit with the fact that I have to let these people die in order to prove that they are Kira or working for Kira. But at the same time, you have them giving time frames. You have the evidence there. The issue is that if you arrest them too soon, that evidence isn't admissible in court. Yes, they heard them say it, but there's no actual physical evidence. It could just be dismissed as hearsay. It could just be dismissed as them messing around. They could hire lawyers to justify that it's not anything serious. It's that they didn't actually mean or intend to kill anybody because they don't have the ability to do so. They have to let these people die in the time frame specified in the recording that they have in order to categorically prove without a doubt in a legal case that these men are Kira, because everything lines up. And it's horrible, and I don't think I'd be able to sit through it, but you kind of don't have a choice.
In order to catch Kira, we are going to need some solid proof.
Yeah. And it's horrible.
Ryuzaki,
I
if
couldn't
one of
do
these
it.
7 men is in fact Kira, would it be safe to say that if I try calling one of them, the odds of that person actually being Kira is going to be 1 in 7?
I'm thinking there could be more than one Kira among them. A probability of 2 in 7 at most.
I'm going to pose as L. Judging from their conversations so far, the one least likely to be Kira, but with the most influence is Namikawa.
Is this Reiji Namikawa, head of the Yotsuba Group's marketing department?
Yes. And who is this?
Listen carefully, but don't draw attention to yourself. I am L. I've placed cameras and wiretaps throughout that meeting room. Even as I speak, I'm recording footage of your entire meeting.
The first thing you discussed was Hattori's death. Now you're debating who to kill next.
Am I correct?
He's putting them under psychological pressure.
If you are not Kira, or if you are not someone who can contact Kira directly...
Let's make a deal.
A deal?
I need you to delay the deaths of ELF's president and Mr. Zensai by 1 month.
If you complete your end of the deal and cooperate with our requests from now on, then your crimes, no, not just yours, but everyone's
crimes with the exception of Kira's will be pardoned, based on the premise that Kira blackmailed you into participating in these meetings.
I see.
Smart.
My only option is to join L. No, I'll be dead if Kira manages to find out. What should I do?
Don't let Kira find
If you
out.
tell the others about this call, they will panic. It would be of no advantage to you. Everyone would be arrested immediately. But that's not my intention. I'm
His
planning to go
dad's looking at him
one-on-one
like,
against Kira.
is this actually my son?
If I win against Kira, you will be acquitted of all charges. If Kira wins, then you'll be free to carry on with your comfortable life.
Anyway, sorry for the interruption. Let's get back on topic. We were discussing when we should kill Zensai and the men from ELF. Here's what I'm thinking. We'll give Coil 1 month to reveal L's
He's
identity.
very smooth in how he just acts as if that conversation never happened.
Then we'll give him another month to investigate.
Just very unimpacted.
Once we
I
get
can't
rid
say
of
the
L
word.
clean, we can go back to killing 2 or 3 people a week. In other words, our top priority should be the elimination of L.
You really are quite amazing, Light. Not only did you manage to delay the killings, but you also set up Namikawa as a potential mole for us. Sounded exactly like the sort of thing I would do, and you thought of it quicker than I did.
They're
At this
besties.
rate, if I end up dying somehow, it's quite possible that you would be capable of succeeding me.
What?
I said this back in, oh my god, I can't even remember what episode number it was, but I said this. I said that the best thing that Light could ever do is succeed L, because then he could throw off any suspicion. Because who's going to suspect that the head of the Kira investigation is Kira himself? Oh, I said that that was going to happen, and now I'm like, this is probably where the story is going to go, is that he's going to end up succeeding L.
Why are you being so morbid? There isn't time for that. We only have a month to figure out Kira's identity and gather evidence against him to prove it.
Would you take over for me as L?
If L ends up dying and it's Light that kills him, will he know that it's Light that killed him? Will he have that moment of realization? Because that's incredibly sad if so. If written the same name on more than 2 Death Notes is completed with a 0.06 second difference, it is regarded as simultaneous. The Death Note will not take effect and the individual written will not die. Oh, okay. So it's like kind of cancels each other out. The God of Death must at least own 1 Death Note. That Death Note must never be lent to or written on by a human. Well, tell that to Misa and Light.
If he is Kira and just playing innocent, he's sure to say yes.
What are you talking about? As long as we're joined by these, we would die together anyway. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to tell everyone what you're really thinking right now.
He's playing a game.
He thinks that if I am Kira, then there are 2 possibilities. Either I'm just pretending I'm not him and putting on an act, or Kira's power has passed on from me to someone else, and I have no memory that I was ever Kira in the first place. He's trying to determine which, if either, is the truth. Ryuzaki still believes that I'm Kira. Even if that power had been passed to someone else, he thinks that I would have planned to have it returned to me once I'm safe from suspicion.
Which is exactly what he intends to do.
I wasn't being controlled at all. He thinks it was a plan to pass on the power and arrange for it to come back to me once I've been cleared.
Impressive. He figured out exactly what I'd been thinking all this time.
And it's the
Ryuzaki's
truth.
theory is that once I steal L's title, I will become Kira again.
Correct.
And you're thinking I could do it. No, that I would do it. That's what you're saying, isn't it?
I think you would.
Yes.
But what about now? I told you I don't want your title. That should prove even to you that I'm not putting on an act, shouldn't it?
If this is all an act, and you are trying to steal my identity, there's no chance you would be foolish enough to reveal your plan in front of everyone.
Do you think that I'm actually capable of becoming a murderer?
Yes.
Kira?
Yes.
Even after I help you catch him? Do I seem like that kind of person to you?
Yes.
Yes, you do.
I don't think he's ever going to fool L. Again?
Not again.
Okay, break it up! Once is enough! It was a draw, so let's just leave it as an even match, okay?
The Light Children.
Right. Anyway, let's focus on catching the Kira that's in front of us right now.
This really is a testament to L's intelligence. The fact that he is still able to figure all of this out whilst not knowing the full details of the Death Note and how it works is incredible, because he has no evidence to back up his theories. They're like leaps in the dark, but they're always correct. He always seems to land on the right idea of what Light is doing or what Kira is doing. So it's rather incredible to watch, because the supernatural aspect of the Death Note is very, very confusing for most people. And yet L seems to take that in his stride. And though he admits that he doesn't fully understand everything, the fact that he believes that Light has passed the power on to somebody else and will take it back at the first opportunity, which is exactly what has happened, is so wild to me.
Ryuzaki.
Oh god, here we go.
We have plenty of footage from this meeting. Can't we use that as evidence against those 7 men and prevent the murders of other criminals?
Here we go again. Unfortunately, no.
But why?
At the moment, we're not certain if Kira is among those 7 men. If all they have is a tenuous connection with him, then Kira will kill them as soon as they're arrested. We have to be absolutely sure that Kira is among them, so there's no point in detaining them now.
I love those sugar cubes. I used to eat them as a kid.
Difficult to determine who the culprit is.
They're very
I believe
nice.
it's still far too early for us to make our move. I think from now on I should go after Kira by myself.
Huh?
You can use these headquarters as you wish. I'll also be here, but we will be working independently. You can conduct your investigation under your own direction. Feel free to arrest those men if you like. I will be carrying on my own investigation. We'll only get into arguments if we don't split up and act separately at this point. This is for the best. Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't say that preventing more deaths is pointless. But if we don't uncover the entire truth once and for all,
It doesn't
Kira will
matter.
appear again, and the number of victims will continue to increase.
Jesus
That's
Christ,
why I believe
Elle.
it's more important to find out who
It's
Kira
enough.
really is.
It's enough
As
sugar.
I've been saying, I'm opposed to arresting those 7 men. If you want to do so, then you will have to take responsibility for it. I wonder who will succeed.
Ryuzaki, where are you
It's
going?
like pulling a
To
dog.
Amani's room. Sorry, I know you're on your father's side and all this, but I can't remove these handcuffs. I'm afraid you're going to have to come along with me. Misa Amane, tell me, do you love light from the bottom of your heart?
Huh? Yeah. Of course I do.
But you also worship Kira, don't you?
Well, yeah.
So then, if you had to choose between Light and Kira, who would you pick?
What? That's obvious. Of course it's gonna be Light. I'm really grateful to Kira and want to meet him someday in person, but that's not true love.
This is building to her going undercover, isn't it? At Yatsuba.
He says he wants to catch Kira. Now what will you do?
Well, if that's what Light says, then I'm gonna support him no matter what.
I'm planning to have Iber pose as Geraldo Coil again. He'll tell the Yotsuba members that while he was investigating Elle, he discovered that Misa Amane might know who he is. He'll also tell them that Elle brought her in for questioning on suspicion that she was the second Kira. If the Yotsuba group believes that Misa could be their lead to finding Elle, then they'll say that they want to meet her to discuss their advertising campaign. They'll use that opportunity to question her. Thanks to Matsuda's screw-up, they may already be considering Misa as their new spokesperson, so this could work.
We can't do that.
Why not?
This plan is too risky. Who knows what could happen to you?
Oh, wow. Does that mean you're worried about me? Yay!
Not necessarily. Just doesn't want you being at risk of dying, I guess. Same as anyone else.
Promise I won't say anything, even if they torture me.
I can attest to that.
But Kira can control his victim's actions before their death. There's a good chance he might try to manipulate her into revealing what she knows and then kill her. Also, if he does manage to kill Elle, he won't have any use for Misa. He'd kill her to keep her silent.
I don't like the sound of that.
Light. You forget that if we win against Kira, Misa won't die. Either we lose and both die together, or we successfully catch Kira.
I mean,
which is it?
We catch Kira! I would never
if
dream about
Elle
living in a
dies
world
of a
without
heart
Light.
attack, Light
would be dark.
wouldn't.
Cut it out! This is just crazy!
What the fuck? I could never dream of living in a world without light. Yes, that would be dark.
And I'm starting to get desperate. As for Misa,
Oh,
I've turned to her because
so
I know her
unserious
bravery and love
sometimes.
for you is boundless.
Do you really mean it? Oh no, I think I've totally misunderstood you all this time. I even called you a pervert.
Oh,
You
they're gonna be
actually do
besties
understand how
now.
I feel, don't you?
Yes, Misa is indisputably the most perfect and worthy woman for Light.
Since Light wouldn't manipulate her, Elle's going to do it instead.
Let's not go that far. But you could maybe be a friend of mine. Would that be okay?
Yes, so now I've gained yet another friend.
Let's all be friends together.
Bestie circle.
Of
Yay.
course, I would never think of betraying any of my friends. With our powers combined, we'll arrest Kira.
Light's taking a different investigative approach from us and will be working with his father and the others. I'm afraid it will just be you and I.
Huh? What's up with that?
Come on, Elle. Now you're just playing
Are they
dirty.
gonna
You're leaving me with no
Put
other
like
choice but to
headphones
join
on
your-
him and like blindfold him so he doesn't know what they're
he'll be
talking
joining
about?
That's not it either. I've been opposed to this investigation since the beginning. It's too dangerous for her.
Oh, Light. You're so sweet. Thank you for worrying about me. But please let me do this. I want to be useful to you somehow. If I can be useful, then maybe you'll love me even more. And besides, I would gladly die if it were for you, Light.
Figuring out the logistics of arresting 7 people is going to be challenging. I don't suppose you two have any ideas. Mogi? Matsuda?
I knew it was gonna have to come into play at some point that they were gonna have a little friend friendship between the three of them, but that was so funny. I just didn't expect like the little skipping circle and the light beams. As much as Elle is no different to Kira in that he's willing to put people's lives at risk and for people to die, at the same time, I completely understand where he's coming from, because if they don't die, the evidence that they have collected can be dismissed. It's not admissible because it doesn't actually match what was said. They don't have concrete evidence, whereas if they die, they have concrete evidence. So yeah, Misa's being brought on to investigate or try and get further information from Yatsoba because they're gonna think she knows more about Elle than she actually does. Could this be part of the wider plan of Rem giving Misa the Death Note back? Technically, it's Misa's Death Note that they have because Lights is buried. Yeah, it's all a tad bit confusing as to how this is going to play out, but it was funny to see how Light was adamant that he's not going to manipulate Misa. He wants nothing to do with using her emotions for him because it's not moral. And now we see Elle being like, I don't give a fuck. If you're not going to do it, I'm going to do it for you. So he plays on that whole relationship dynamic between the two of them. And she obviously is so like head over heels for Light that she's willing to do whatever she wants for him. She was a lot more likable in this episode than she has been in the past 2 episodes. This episode, she's more the Misa that we knew in the earlier episodes when she was written well. The past 2 episodes kind of were a bit, I don't know, they kind of just treated her as maybe like a plot device or like humor. They didn't actually treat her as like a character worth like investing into. Whereas in this episode, like she was actually given a bit more character development. She was a bit more interesting and a bit more fun. So it was nice to kind of see the old Misa that we've come to know. I just found it weird how inconsistent like her character arc has been lately, but hey. I guess in the next episode we're going to see Misa infiltrate essentially the Yatsoba group and we'll start to see things come to a head, especially now that Light has kind of coerced somebody into being a mole. He is sitting on the fence, he's playing both sides, but that also means that they have an inside voice to delay things if needs be. And Elle just categorically trusting his gut that Light is Kira is just so funny. And it's just so cool to see Elle figure everything out, figure Light's motives, figure out how he may become Kira again, and not buying that he was actually controlled by Kira, but that he is actually Kira and has somehow passed on his powers to somebody else with the intention of appearing innocent to gain that knowledge back. How he comes to these conclusions sometimes is wild because it does feel like a leap and almost a bit like, well, how does he know this? Because we're not really given the full thought process, but it's still just a testament to his intelligence and as to why he is considered like the top detective in the world and even hiding under 2 other aliases, which are also the top detectives in the world. I'm really excited to see how the next episode progresses and we get to see hopefully a bit more of Misa. I'm hoping that the writing for Misa as this goes forward is stronger than what it has been in the last couple of episodes. It's not been great. She's kind of been treated as a secondary device. Like she's not really been treated as a character per se. She's more just been treated as a plot device. And I think that's why the writing has been a bit inconsistent because there's times where they're like, well, now she's not actually contributing to anything in the plot in this episode. We don't know what to write for her. So here's hoping that the next episode or the next couple of episodes, if it's a long process, is one where we see a bit more of the writing treating Misa as a character and less like a plot element or a plot device. But yeah, if you enjoyed this episode, please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment below to help boost this video into the algorithm. And until next episode, bye!